You know, if I was a Republican member of Congress and I'm listening to President Trump, the only words that enter my mind are, oh God, no, what are you doing? And that is because the issue has not gone.
For months, Donald Trump has told Americans that his #1 priority is making life more affordable. So what happens when a bill lands on his desk that could actually help address one of the biggest affordability issues in the country? Well, what you're about to watch surprised even members of his own party. In this clip, Republicans are left scrambling after Donald Trump abruptly refuses to sign a bipartisan housing bill that had overwhelming support in Congress. And the reaction from inside Washington tells you this wasn't part of anyone's plan. Now, if you're new here, my name's Bradley Hostin, and this is The Bradley Hostin Show. Let me know where you're watching from in the comments below. I need you guys to stick around until the end because I want to explain why I think this decision could come back to haunt Republicans politically and why this entire situation exposes a much bigger problem for Donald Trump. Let's get into it.
Affordability. The president seems to think the housing bill is not important. Has the affordability issue just gone away?
You know, if I was a Republican member of Congress and I'm listening to President Trump, the only words that enter my mind are, oh God, no, what are you doing? And that is because the issue has not gone away at all. Google searches for affordability. Look at this, up 500% this week versus the pre-2026 average. In fact, Johnny B, they reached, you have it going across the top of your screen, reached an all-time, well, I couldn't get the pen. There we go. All-time high this week. So no, the issue of affordability isn't going away. There's a reason why Republicans wanted this legislation not just passed, but signed into law by the President of the United States, because this is the issue, of course, that got Donald Trump elected in the first place, and they want to be able to give their voters something, their members of Congress something, so that the voters perhaps, don't vote him out of office come November.
Affordability at an all-time high for searches
On
this week?
all-time high this week, affordability.
On the week that he decided not to sign the housing bill.
Great politics.
He ran on affordability,
yes,
right? In terms of fulfilling those election promises, how's the president doing?
Okay, so you see affordability up 500% in terms of people searching on Google, an all-time high. This comes back to the issue we've spoken about over and over and over again. President Trump got elected to bring down inflation, got elected to fix the economy in the voters' minds. And do they think he's keeping his campaign promises? No. Oh, God, no. Trump kept his 2024 campaign promises. You go back to April of 2025 among voters, the bare majority, but a majority nonetheless, 52% said yes, 47% said no. That 52% down into the ground now. Now it's 40%. While that percentage who said no, it's up. Now it's the clear majority. 55% say that Trump is not keeping his campaign promises. So when he is off yesterday, not signing that bill to help bring down, make housing more affordable, instead talking about the SAVE Act, this is what they're talking about. President Trump taking his eyes off the ball and not keeping his 2024 campaign
Which
promises.
party do people trust more to deal with these issues?
Yeah, this is the reason why Republicans in Congress simply wanted this legislation not just passed, but signed into law, because the buck is going to stop with them come the 2026 midterm elections, because President Trump is not on the ballot. Trusted more on the cost of living. You go back to January of the beginning of this year, it was the GOP by point. Look at this. This is the trend that makes Republicans in Congress shake in their boots, because it is one thing if President Trump has low approval ratings on inflation. The question, of course, is will it funnel its way down ballot? Information like this, data like this says it absolutely will. And now Democrats lead on the issue. They got President Trump reelected in the first place simply because they don't think the President of the United States is keeping his campaign promises, and will absolutely take it out on Republicans this fall.
A notable political environment for all the actions taken this week. Harriet, and thank you very much.
Thank you, my friend.
When the president first announced that he was not going to be signing this bill today, what was your first reaction?
I thought it was some kind of joke. I really did. I thought it was a Borowitz report of some kind, because the Republicans were already out there trying to take credit for the bill, talking about what a great bill it is. And they should, because it is a great bill. When's the last time you saw a bill that could pass the Senate with huge margins? Democrats and Republicans passed the House with huge margins. And understand, it didn't pass because we watered everything down to, we'll do a study or a blue ribbon commission. This is a bill that does two really big things. The first one is it has nearly 50 provisions that are all about expanding housing supply. Everything from manufactured housing to housing for veterans to more support for cities and local communities that are trying to build more housing. Lots of different provisions. We had provisions in there from every Democrat on the banking committee and every Republican on the banking committee. So this is a bill that, look, it's not the federal government coming in and bigfooting and saying, here's two things and you got to do them in every community. It's one that says, here are a lot of ways to widen the path and make it a smoother path to build more housing, which will bring down prices. That's part one. Part two in the bill is for the first time ever in American history, this bill says private equity, stay out. You cannot move into one neighborhood after another, buy up all the residential housing, and turn America from a nation of owners to a nation of
Which is an issue the White House has touted. But, the president, as he was talking about this, I mean, he seemed to signal this kind of last night if you were watching Truth Social. He said, quote, the Elizabeth Pocahontas Warren-centric housing bill is of minor importance compared to lowering interest rates. And he said Republicans should terminate the filibuster, pass the SAVE Act instead. I mean, 192 Republicans in the House voted for it, or in Congress in total, I think, if that's in the House, that's and right. Who in the Senate
and
voted for
85 voted for it, Democrats and Republicans in the Senate. But, I want to focus for just 1 minute on his point about interest rates. I'd like to see interest rates come down, too.
Yeah, you agree.
I would like to see interest rates come down. But remember why interest rates are up. It's because prices are going up. And why are they going up? Trump tariffs are driving up prices basically for everything you buy that has been imported. Energy policy that is taking renewable, the cheapest energy, offline. Healthcare policy that has driven up the cost of health insurance and healthcare for tens of millions of Americans. And starting a bombing war halfway around the world that has shut down the Straits of Hormuz and driven up the cost of gasoline and everything that has to be.
But it kind of sounds like he might veto the bill.
Well, look, that's not going to bring down interest rates. He wants to bring down interest rates. High interest rates are laid directly at Donald Trump's feet. He wants to bring them down, then reverse the Donald Trump policies that are pushing up costs for families.
Yeah, I mean, and his pick is running the Federal Reserve, Kevin Warsh now, who has not lowered interest rates and did not signal that. In terms of all of this, when you look at this and what's happening on the Hill today, one Republican who voted against it was Tommy Tuberville, who voted against this bill. And I should note, it passed 85-5, obviously in the Senate over where you are. And this is what Tuberville said about the president torching this bill today.
It's not going to help the middle class. And if it helped the middle class, I'd be all in. But I think this is a bill that might touch a little bit of the middle classes, but it's going to go to a lot of people that are here illegally to build houses for them. If you want to fix housing, drop the interest rate. That's how you fix housing and make it more affordable.
Look, you want to drop the interest rate, change Trump's policies on tariffs on energy, on healthcare, and on bombing countries halfway around the world. But do understand this. This bill is about housing for America's middle class. It's about housing for renters. It's about housing that people will buy. It's about housing for first-time home buyers and young people moving out into their first residences of their own. It's about housing for seniors, housing for veterans. Republicans and Democrats put this bill together with help from mayors all over America. Democrats and Republicans who said, here's something that would help in my community, and that's what we did.
Do you think Congress will override it if Trump vetoes it?
Look, I'm not going to do the hypotheticals on this right now, but what I am going to say to you is we will get this bill passed. Understand, Donald Trump spent a year running for office, and what did he say every single day? That he would lower costs for American families on day one, We are now on day 511 something. And the cost of groceries, cost of healthcare, cost of housing, cost of utilities, cost of gasoline is up, up, up. Donald Trump is in real trouble on this economy, and families are getting squeezed tight. What's happening right now with this housing bill, this is the one chance for this Congress to say, we not only are going to talk about lowering costs, we're actually going to do it. Notice here, Democrats, we don't have the majority in the House, we don't have the majority in the Senate, and we sure as hell don't control the White House, but by golly, we put our shoulders to the wheel. We helped get a bill drafted and through with big bipartisan votes that would bring down costs. What that says to me is that we need to stay focused on lowering those costs. Democrats are committed to doing that, and Republicans, who the hell knows what they're up to?
Okay, so let me give you guys my thoughts because honestly, I think this is one of the biggest political own goals we've seen in quite some time. Donald Trump won the election promising to tackle one issue above all else: affordability. Whether it was groceries, gas, rent, or buying a home, that was the message. Americans were told relief was on the way. Now imagine you're an ordinary voter. You're struggling to afford a house, your bills keep going up, and Congress actually manages to pass a bipartisan housing bill. In today's political climate, that's almost unheard of. And what really stood out to me wasn't what Democrats were saying, it was the frustration coming from Republicans. You could hear it. They finally had something they could take back to their voters and say, look, we worked across the aisle and got something done. Then, in a matter of minutes, that victory disappeared. The other thing that caught my attention was the polling. People aren't searching for celebrity gossip or political drama. They're searching for one word: affordability. That tells you exactly where the public's head is right now. People don't wake up thinking about Washington. They wake up wondering how they're going to pay the rent, buy groceries, or save enough for a home. If politicians lose sight of that, voters have a way of reminding them at the ballot box. But that's just my opinion. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Did Trump make the right decision, or did he put politics ahead of helping American families? And as always, this is the Bradley Holston Show. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one.